This just in, days like today are good reminders not to take Ethereum's scalability for granted. ETH has never been under extreme pressure with ICOs, NFTs, and DeFi. Clients have been under attack. It has forked, yet it has never had an outage. Since 2015 launch, taking shots. Oh, wow, getting feisty in here. Okay, hear me out. What if they delete Soul Punks from the Solana snapshot they use for the restart?
He needs some milk.
Yo, people are worried about their NFTs. You should be worrying about the billions of dollars on Solana. This doesn't sound too decentralized. I agree. I agree myself. If you guys didn't know what's going on, basically Solana came to a complete halt. The blockchain was stopped because there's way too many transactions. And as you can see from right here, the Solana validator community successfully completed a restart of the mainnet beta after an upgrade to 1.6.25 dApps. Block explorers and supporting systems will recover over the next several hours, at which point full functionality should be restored. Guys, Solana had huge issues. We've seen this with other blockchains before. What is the end game for Solana? Hey guys, before we jump into the video, I just want to update you really quickly. There are hundreds of people impersonating me. They have made a business model out of it. These guys are making new accounts at will. They will copy my posts. They will copy my avatar. They are going to copy and paste everything about my life to convince you that they are me. You guys know the only thing I sell is the fundamentalsecrets.com, my digital course. So if you apply there, then yes, somebody will reach out. Other than that, guys, it's a scammer. Don't let them take your money. What's going on, everybody? Alex back with another video, and today we're going to be talking about Solana's endgame. What can potentially play out in the future for Solana? We saw with AVAX that they actually had a similar issue and their price dropped by about 85%. Scary, but I'll tell you what, Solana has a lot of hype behind it. So we're going to kind of weigh out the pros and cons in Solana's scenario. And of course, we're going to go over exactly what happened with this entire restart. Now, if you haven't already subscribed to the channel, I have the handsomest mustache on planet Earth. So that is a proposition for this channel. Subscribe, like the video, and of course, share it with a friend. Also, turn on post notification bell so you can get information like this first. The news is obviously urgent. Solana went down. I was like one of the first people to report on that. Now, I want to show you something else because this is also a proposition of my channel that you get for free, actually, you know, for negative, because I actually lose money by not doing this. Let me show you something brought to you by Zach XBT. Welcome to the bull run of 2020 and 2021. Its up only was valuations are at all-time high, and your favorite influencer can be a VC. This is going to get crazy out here. New funds pop up on a weekly basis, yet at the same time, invest/incubate a billions of projects at once. How are they so efficient, you might ask? Basically, the whole entire thread goes into detail on how we have Moonrock Capital basically pumping the price of coins and how influencers basically get paid to shoot the price up. And then we have VC capitals dumping on people. In 2008, basically this guy that founded BlockFire, a blockchain advisory firm in Germany in 2020, was acquired by Tixel. In between the period of 2019, Moonrock Capital was formed by them. And then he goes into showing, after the Scott incident, somebody close to the team of Moonrock and BlockFire messaged me about the firm and went all on. So basically somebody dropped the ball. Let's dive into the two projects, Polk and P-Bond, incubated by Moonrock Capital, and let's dig a bit deeper to see if they set the standard. So basically, in general, he's showing the marketing payouts. As one of the largest marketing failures this bull run, the chart exemplifies suspicious activity. In doing so, I reviewed the entire transaction history from the launch of June. Below is a brief summary of my findings. It's clear that the only thing that Moonrock helped them to succeed with was pumping investor/insider funds and dumping on retail. Below is a typical life cycle of a Moonrock incubation standard. You can see right here, Moonrock incubated it, pumped the price up, and then proceeded to dump on retail investors, people like us, that I don't personally do it, but I know a lot of people take investment advice from YouTubers and stuff like that. This is why I do not get paid by anybody, because it makes me unbiased. I have to, therefore, go out and literally talk about a project I don't even believe in myself, right? If you can see here, Polka Markets is another incubation. So as you can see right here, below is a graph of all the largest cumulative sells in the first 4 weeks. Many of the wallets receive tokens from the IDOs as well, so they could just like dump it immediately. Same thing incubation announcement and then drop right after. They're incubating these projects, pumping it up with influencers by paying influencers to talk about it and then dumping on it. Now you're starting to see the pattern. If you're not convinced, here are some other projects that they have invested in. Literally every single one showing the same pattern. Same pattern. I'm not perfect. Some of these projects, without even getting paid, I talked about because literally they caught me off guard as well. Like sometimes, YouTubers are correct, right? And sometimes I'll get the information from there. And it happened to be that it was like PMON, because it looked like an NFT. Like that side of the world, I didn't know too well. DeFi, they'll never catch me. They'll never catch me in DeFi. But when it comes to like NFTs and these types of projects, it's kind of hard to tell which ones are going to do good or not. All your favorite influencers work with VCs and marketing firms for a collective shilling campaign. Many do not disclose they were compensated in some capacity. They are placed into group chats organized by people like Danny Less, and basically they dump on you, right? Like this is just a sad reality of what's going on here. Some of these people just have to pay their bills. They're not entrepreneurs. They just make YouTube content all day, right? They just research and make YouTube. YouTube doesn't pay them enough. They're in finance. They're literally in the market of finance. So of course they're going to start, trying to make money, right? Perhaps you think that the teams PMON and Polk were taken advantage of. A couple of founders of the teams worked with TIXL, which BlockFire was acquired by, all of who Moonrock worked closely with previously. Other VCs have sprung up to do the exact same thing. The LARPing VC model includes little or no vesting period, shilling campaign, use new friendly buzzwords, Ponzi tokenomics designed to benefit the VCs at launch. Here are possible solutions that hopefully more VCs should follow. Don't share the cap table with, basically he's trying to help VCs in the future not take advantage of people, I guess. I don't know. But in general, I thought this was a very interesting investigation. Guys, there's a reason why I don't do these things, right? And it's not just because of, them dumping on you, which is a very common thing, but it's also because I just want to provide unbiased research, and my brand quality means more to me than anything else in the world. Like it really does. And I try to give you guys the highest quality, truthful information. I am a human. I do make mistakes. Like I think last video or 2-3 videos ago, I mistaked the market cap by the 24-hour volume. Things like this come from the fact that I'm a human being. I don't edit it out. I just give you guys a truth, honesty, integrity. And again, I will never accept a sponsorship by any coin. I don't care how much they're going to pay me. And this is why I have fundamental secrets, so I can pay my bills and do what I have to do and educate people in the way that I see fit. There's a reason why I do these things. I have my own product to shill. I don't need to shill somebody else's. We're true entrepreneurs here. And actually, it's funny, me creating my own business and not shilling other people's projects actually made me a 10 times better a researcher, because now I know how businesses run it and I know how to create it. So I think every YouTuber honestly should follow this model of them creating their own thing, and it will make us all better. If everybody went entrepreneur mode, right? YouTube's not entrepreneurship. That's just a show. If everybody went entrepreneur mode, you'd understand, I don't know, these businesses. Maybe you would understand it. I don't know. You guys tell me. Leave a comment below if you like that. Willy Woo. The primary value offered by BTC is decentralization. Back to the topic at hand with Solana. Mess with that, then we may as well have gold, which is centralized, and then that leads to fiat. Big blocks centralize the network. That is a decision to optimize throughput while killing the main value of the network. This is the big problem that basically people have been trying to solve, the trilemma. We're going to talk a little bit more about the trilemma, but the point I'm trying to make here, and it's with Solana, it's with Binance Smart Chain, it's, with Bitcoin Cash, all these centralized blockchains, is that, like, of course, we have this centralization that increases transaction speeds, but it defeats the whole purpose. It literally defeats every principle in cryptocurrency. Decentralization and permissionlessness is the reason why Bitcoin is so valuable. So if you take that away, it loses its value, and you're sacrificing security for transaction speeds. There is a trilemma. We are trying to solve it, but you have to find the sweet spot, if that makes sense. And if you don't have decentralization, then you just might as well use a regular server like Amazon Web Services or something that already currently exists with database. It's way faster. It's way faster than any blockchain. And I've been trying to say this over and over again. Remember, when there's centralized entities, this is what happens. Here is the repercussions of centralization. Let's watch this.
We want our businesses to stay open, but workers who aren't vaccinated won't be at work in a lockout. So if you want your business to stay open during an outbreak, make sure your workers are vaccinated. To help make this new policy work once you reach the next phase, we are working on upgrading the Territory Check-in app so that it can be linked to your vaccination certificate. That will help venues ensure that only vaccinated people are entering their premises during a lockdown or lockout situation. And I'll make this point. Businesses and venues will have the right to refuse entry to unvaccinated people, whether or not there is an outbreak. So, for example, if organisations like AFLNT decide that all players and spectators at all footy games in the future must be vaccinated, that is their right, and we will back them in to enforce their right. So I'll say it again and again. If you want your life to continue close to normal, get your jab. For vaccinated people, the check-in app will basically be your freedom pass. For people who make the choice to not get vaccinated, no vax means no freedom pass. We're working with other governments now to get this technology ready, as well as making sure vaccinated people without access to apps or QR codes can still have a freedom pass. I want to thank the Prime Minister for his government's financial and technical support to help get this up and running.
Now, again, I am not a medical professional. I will not comment on the vaccine or COVID in any way, shape, or form because I am not qualified to do that. But I will say, putting anyone through a mandatory restriction and restricting their entire freedom is not something I think power to the people will invite. I think if there was a decentralized vote here, that wouldn't have happened. Now, as you can see, Australia is going through some heavy restrictions on its, population. They literally cannot go outside unless they're vaccinated. And again, I'm not going to comment on the vaccination. I don't care. What I'm trying to explain here is that centralization, when there's a select few people that can decide the rights, when they can decide the rights of what goes on in a blockchain or in a country, things like this happen. Things like, I don't know if this is democracy anymore. I don't. And I'm not political in any way, shape, or form. I just believe in decentralization, power to people, and voting for these things. And as you can clearly see, it looks like the unvaccinated are not part of this decision. That is scary, honestly, guys. That's very scary. So let's talk about the trilemma, because this is a concept you need to understand, because all these people going back and forth talking about Solana, and people are making investment decisions off of it. We have a whole bunch of people that are bullish. We have a whole bunch of people that are bearish on Solana's price. So you have to understand kind of like the fundamental problem with blockchains and their scalability issues. So there's something called a trilemma, and it kind of looks like this. And basically, security, decentralization, and speed is the three variables of the trilemma. Pretty much, if you want to increase one, something else has to be sacrificed. So in the case of Bitcoin, security is obviously at the highest point, but speed is the issue, right? And decentralization is slightly an issue. It depends on how you look at the mining situation. But in general, when you have things like Solana increase its scalability, the ability for a blockchain system to handle an increasingly growing amount of transactions, you will sacrifice things like decentralization and security. Now, right now, there's pretty much no one that has been able to infinitely increase all three of them at the same time. And this is why they call it the trilemma in blockchain. And just understand that all of these new platforms that are coming out with fast transaction speeds, they are sacrificing in some way, shape, or form security and decentralization. And this is happening with Solana. As you can see right here, is it really actually a trilemma? First, it's important to note that the trilemma is just a model to conceptualize the various challenges facing blockchain technology. There is no law stating that all three aspects can be achieved, but to date, teams have worked on different approaches to attempt to maximize decentralization, scalability, and security. Now, this is a very important concept to understand, because people think that just because Solana works means it's superior. They are centralized and VC capital, and clearly they are all colluding to restart the whole entire block. They literally all restarted it in less than 24 hours. That has never happened before on Ethereum. So it's very interesting. If we look at the creator of Solana, you can see right here, he's explaining exactly what happened. Bots during the Radium IDO are flooding into the network at 300K transactions per second. The queues that forwards transaction to the block producers grew in size to the point that it caused excessive forking. The fix to prioritize messages in this queue was already in the works, but wasn't out yet. So basically they had an upgrade that wasn't out yet. This is the actual protocol that they launched to all the developers in Solana to restart the actual network. This is exactly right here. They have to create a snapshot of the slot. They installed the version 1.6.24 Solana release. They adjusted the validator command line. This is like obviously developer talk. And then you start your new validator. So in general, we see Solana coming back surely but surely. As you can see here, transactions are going through less than a minute ago. You can see the transaction per second history is right back up to where it was before, 2,000 something transactions per second. So that's good. That's definitely bullish for Solana. But remember, guys, this is not the first time this happened, and this is what bothers me. As you can see here, on September 2nd in 2021, Solana mainnet beta is experiencing instability. Engineers are investigating the issue, and this was on September 2nd. If we look at the price of SOL around that time, this exact markers here, we actually didn't see a dump at all. So maybe we can continue going higher for Solana. Maybe this doesn't stop Solana. But since this other issue just recently happened and the whole entire blockchain stopped, the price has dumped a lot. The price has dumped like a significant amount. So let's see what happens in the future. If we look at the actual search term of Solana, it looks like it's taking a nosedive. So it might not be the best time to buy Solana now. Maybe you can hold it, whatever you want to do with your money. This is not financial advice. But personally, I am not buying Solana right now. This does not make sense. It does not make sense for me from a risk to reward perspective to buy something that the blockchain went out and is already pumped ridiculous amounts of percentages. Like literally in the past couple of weeks or so, we have literally what? In the past month, we have 398% increase. Do you really want to buy the top? Do you really want to buy the top? That's just the truth. Plus, if we look at it from a risk to reward perspective, there's two ecosystems that we're going to adopt. And this came from the poll on my Twitter. I asked what layer one ecosystem do you guys want me to dive into? So I'll be hitting it very hard, by the way. I'm going to be hitting it hard. And the two that we're going to be talking about, if we look at a risk to reward perspective, is Phantom. As you can see here, Phantom's actually by percentage gains doing really well in comparison to Solana. All I did is take Solana's chart and I divided it by Phantom's chart. So if this price goes up, that means Solana's doing better than Phantom. If this goes down, that means Phantom's doing better than Solana by percentage gains, which is the only reason you should be investing in crypto, not by price, by percentage gains. And you can see it has a hefty amount of resistance here and looks like we're going down, meaning Phantom is probably going to outcompete Solana. Today, it outcompeted Solana by a lot. And we've been talking about Phantom for a while. We were talking about Phantom when it was at 85 cents. Phantom is actually the 24-hour winner of the top 100, as you can see here. And I do expect it to continue to grow. What's the point of holding Solana when we have other blockchains that are doing very well and outcompeting Solana by percentage gains? It just doesn't make sense from a risk to reward perspective. People are just getting into this tribalism and they're getting emotional with their investments. You know we don't do that on this channel. And if you're that type of person, you might as well leave now. You just might as well leave now because we're trying to make money. I don't know about you guys, but I'm trying to leave a comment below if you're trying to make money. If we come over here and we look at Solana versus DOT, this is the other ecosystem that we are talking about on this channel. You can see that even Solana, versus DOT's doing, it looks like it has a better proposition. All they did was, again, is Solana divided by DOT. So if this price goes up, that means Solana is doing better than DOT. If this price goes down, that means DOT is doing better than Solana. And you can clearly see DOT is dominating Solana right now by percentage gain. So again, I don't know how many times I have to rephrase this to you guys. Don't get emotional. Yes, Solana has NFTs. Yes, it probably made you money. And that's why people get emotional. When they make money and they get this positive reinforcement of them investing into something, and then, oh, it feels good inside and feels warm and fuzzy, they want that to continue. So they're going to continue holding Solana, right? Like that's literally what every trader goes through. It's sad. It's honestly sad. But in general, guys, who knows? There's people that are still bullish on Solana. It takes 10 years to build a new operating system or database or any complex general purpose platform. And Solana is only 4 years in. So in the long run, the future does look bright. Yesterday, Solana outage and a successful recovery brought about by the coordinated efforts of the validators and engineers across the community highlights just how necessary it is for the network participants to actively participate. This is bullish. Of course, they pulled together and they made it happen. On a day like today, this is proof that the Solana community is unmatched. So you guys let me know in the comment section below, are you bullish or bearish on Solana? If I get a lot of bullish, then I might do a Solana ecosystem. I'm unbiased. Don't ever take my word as just one way. There's certain things that are one way, I will say, like, for example, Bitcoin Cash, Bitcoin SV, I'll always be one way. And those are the most negative, like, don't buy, please. Not financial advice, but they're shit coins. They're definitely shit coins. But most of the time I am unbiased, and Solana, I wouldn't mind jumping in. It's just the risk to reward right now does not look good for me. It does not look good. I'm gonna wait for it to come back down probably to these levels right here, if it ever does. I'm looking for around this order block here. Anyway, anything below $100, I'll start scooping up some Solana because in general, their ecosystem definitely flourished and they have a lot of decentralized apps and NFTs being created. One of the best teams in cryptocurrency. So in general, they're good. Just not a good risk to reward for me. That's it for this video. If you like the quality of this content, hit like. If you don't, leave some constructive criticism. Subscribe for more video updates. And like I always say, if you don't get with it, you will get left behind. By the way, guys, I'm going to leave a link below. Go follow me on Instagram and Twitter, please. I'm going to be putting out maybe potentially some altcoin calls. I don't know. You get to see the behind the scenes of my life and what we do. And you know how it's more than cryptocurrency, guys. It's a whole lifestyle. So take that into consideration. Catch you in the next video.